Hello, hello, hello. Shalom, shalom. Welcome, 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 everyone. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, my brother Matthew. Shalom, brother. How are you? How are you? So today we're streaming on two channels. We're streaming on Maccabees TV and Sisters of the Maccabees. So I just want to give a shout out to everyone that is watching on Maccabees TV. So the priest is here, as usual. The priest is here, all right. And the priest wanted me to come on here and talk to you guys again about a question that we have been bombarded with. And from the title, you guys can see what it is. So, we're in the middle of winter. We're in the middle of winter, and so many people are coming down with asthma attacks. Okay, the children, the babies, and the parents, and everybody in the family, everybody is having asthma attack. And so, since I myself and the priest Danyaahla, we have been both bombarded with questions regarding asthma, and people are just asking us for help because the pump, that thing that they give you at the hospital, it hasn't been working. It works temporarily, but it's just an ongoing battle with the asthma. And some people just want to get rid of it. So I personally want to talk to you guys about asthma because I had it in the past. Okay, I know what it's like to not be able to just struggle to breathe. Okay, just not being able to breathe, being afraid that I'm going to die in my sleep at night. So I can tell you from personal experience that it is a horrible, horrible thing to live with. And I'm glad I got rid of it. And so since I myself struggled with asthma in the past, I think I'm qualified to talk to you guys about asthma and help you guys figure out how to get rid of it because I got rid of my asthma. The doctors weren't able to help me. I had asthma and bad allergies, horrible asthma and allergies. I was taking steroids. I was on steroids. I'm talking about steroid medication on top of the pump and on top of going into the hospital, emergency room. They put you in the thing and you're puffing this stuff. I was taking a very strong steroid, some pills. Oh, that was just horrible. This was years and years ago. And when I realized that I wasn't getting any help from the medical system, I decided that I was going to do this on my own. And that's one of the reasons that really kind of pushed me into this whole thing, talking to people about health. And I think that the whole asthma thing is what really started it off, you know. So I'm here to answer since we've been getting a lot of questions regarding asthma and respiratory issues, I want to come on here and see if I can help you guys. Okay. We've had quite a few people who have hit us up in the group on Facebook. We've had quite a few people who have called us on our phones. The babies are struggling with asthma, or some of the adults are struggling with asthma, right? So just gonna, show you guys how I got rid of mine. And hopefully, with discipline, you guys can take heed and help yourself with the information that I'm going to give you today. So again, shout out to everybody on Maccabees TV who's watching, and shout out to everybody on Sister Maccabee. Hey, Sister Kelly, my sister Linda, my brother Yosef. Listen, y'all know I'm very bad with the names. Yahosef. There you go. My brother Yahosef. How are you? Listen, before I go any further, please, if you guys can just hit the like button and the share button, because you might have somebody in your family or a friend or a coworker or somebody struggling with asthma and might need this information. Okay. Each one, teach one. Help somebody out and share this link to somebody else. And please hit the like button. When you do that, just a little hit of the like button will help the information to spread, and hopefully people can learn something from the video today. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in, and I am going to go into sharing some slides with you guys. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Give me 1 second. Give me a second, guys. Let's hope we don't have the same issues we had last time. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Bear with me, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. There we go. All right. All right. So hopefully you guys can see the screen there, and hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay. If you guys can hear me, put 1 in the chat. So that way I know you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, just put 1 in the chat. There we go. Okay. You guys can hear me. All right, good. All right, so we're going to discuss, as I mentioned, asthma and respiratory issues today. All right. Hit the like button and share the live. Okay, so we're going to talk about what causes asthma and how to get rid of it. Yes, you can get rid of asthma. You absolutely can. With a little bit of discipline. A little bit of discipline will have you getting rid of asthma. Okay, so I'm going to share this video just to a little bit of demonstration on what is happening to you when you're having an asthma attack.
When you're not having asthma symptoms, your airways are clear. Air can easily flow in and out of your lungs. When an asthma attack begins, the smooth muscles around the outside of the tubes may tighten. The airways, or bronchial tubes in the lungs, become inflamed and swollen. This makes it difficult for air to pass through the opening. The mucous membrane lining in the tubes begins to produce thick mucus, which builds up and further blocks the airways. This tightened airway may result in a wheezing sound and shortness of breath, signs and symptoms of an asthma attack.
All right. So you guys get the gist, right?
When you're not having
sorry about that. You guys pretty much get the gist. So when an asthma attack happens, something is irritating the lining of the airways, okay? And this irritation causes the airways to become inflamed, as you saw in the video, and your body begin respond by producing excess amount of mucus, further blocking the airways and causing you to start coughing and wheezing, right? And you get that shortness of breath, okay? So what is causing that irritation? Something is causing that irritation in your airways, right? And irritation causes inflammation. Irritation causes inflammation. So when something irritates the airways, you begin to have a lot of inflammation, right? So we're going to discuss some of the main causes of your asthma, all right? Some of the main causes of your asthma. Processed foods. Processed foods. This is one of the biggest problem that we're dealing with. Processed food. Unfortunately, most people, most of us are addicted to processed food, and we cannot get rid of it, some of us, because we are not disciplined enough. Processed foods causes inflammation. All processed foods cause inflammation. Processed foods alter the bacteria that lives in your gut, which interacts with your immune system, and it trigger it and make it leads to chronic inflammation. Okay, so all of that, you know, processed foods that you go to the store and you buy in the aisle, you know, all of your anything that you can think of that's processed. Okay, the processed food contains artificial coloring, sweeteners, sodium, all of the fake thickening agents, all of that fake stuff, that increase mucus production. Okay, when you have all of that stuff in your system, your body begins to produce excess amount of mucus. All right, inflammation makes the lining of the airway swells, which causes wheezing and asthma attack. So what exactly are processed food? You wouldn't, you know, you guys would not believe if I tell you that I've had people who ask me, Sister Malika, what's processed food? There are people who literally do not know what processed food is. I'm going to show you guys some examples of processed foods. There are people who really don't know what processed food is. They don't understand what process mean. Okay, so here are some examples of processed foods. Flour. Flour is an extremely processed foods. Okay, and flour is in most processed foods that you are getting off of your supermarket shelves. Flour is in most of the fast foods that you're eating. Flour is almost in everything. And not just any flour. Most things that you buy from the store that are processed have plain old white flour in it. Okay? White flour does not contain any type of nutrients at all. All of the bran, the fiber, all of the stuff that's supposed to be in it has been removed through the processing of the flour, right? And then sometimes some of it is, a lot of these flours are bleach, right? White flour has no nutrition at all, none whatsoever. The FDA requires that some vitamins and minerals be artificially added back into white flour before it can be sold. Okay, which is why when you look at the back of a bag of flour, you see the word enriched or fortified. Okay, and what those two words mean is that the minerals that are in the flour is artificial, synthetic. That's why they have to put those words on the bag. Okay, if you see the word enriched flour on the bag of your flour, those are artificial minerals in your flour, or the word fortified in the list of ingredients on the back of your flour. It means that literally there is no nutrients at all in the flour, and they had to add artificial nutrients in there. That is what is causing the inflammation in your body. Flour. It's almost in everything. Flour makes pasta, flour makes your bread, flour makes your bagels, your buns, your cakes, your whatever pastries you can think of. Flour is in almost everything. Your fried chicken, your this, your that. Okay, it's in everything. Cereal is made from flour. Cereal is made from flour. Not only is cereal made from flour, well, let me stop sharing here for a second. Let's go back. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at what's in your cereal. Let's take a look at what's in your cereal. Um, the average cereal contains corn flour, right? Yellow flour, the germinated flour, wheat flour, sugar, oat flour, right? Vegetable oils, which is usually soybean and or cotton seeds and all the other vegetable oil, salt, right? Red number 40, blue number 1. I mean, this is what you're feeding your children, right? Nothing but flour, sugar, artificial color, artificial flavor. That's what's in the average cereal that you're giving your babies. That's what's in your cereal, right? Let's go back. Let's go back. Sorry, guys. So that's what's in your cereal. A whole bunch of artificial ingredients, right? So if you're wondering why your babies are having asthma attack, it's because the things in your cereal triggers your asthma, inflammation. They create a lot of inflammation in your body and triggers asthma attack, cause you to start wheezing and coughing. Let's look at another example of processed foods. Okay, pastries, right? A lot of you guys give these things to your children. Nothing but flour and sugar and artificial sweetener and flavoring and fake stuff, right? They taste good, but they have no nutrients, and it creates a lot of inflammation and mucus in your body. Here's another one. Cheese. Everybody's favorite, right? Some people are just addicted to cheese. I've asked people, hey, do you eat dairy? No, I don't eat dairy. Do you eat cheese? Yes, I eat cheese. Well, you don't eat dairy, but you eat cheese, and cheese is dairy. Some people don't consider cheese to be dairy. Cheese is made from milk. Milk is dairy. Cheese is highly inflammatory. It creates inflammation and mucus in your body. And it is very, very processed. It is a very processed food. There's another one. Your mac and cheese. Let's talk about the mac and cheese. Your pasta or spaghetti or whatever you want to call those little, things that you boil and put the cheese on it. That's made from flour. And majority of your pasta that you buy is made from white flour. Companies use the cheapest material they can find to mass produce the stuff that you see on the supermarket shelf. Okay? It's a way to save money. Find the cheapest material and mass produce it. Flour is probably the cheapest thing in the store. That's why it is in everything on the shelves. And it is mass produced. Okay? There's literally no nutrients in a bowl of pasta. And then on top of the flour, because that's all flour, your noodles, your spaghettis, your pasta, that's all flour. And then on top of that, you're adding cheese, more mucus and inflammation. The pasta itself is just nothing but inflammation and mucus. And then you're adding more mucus when you add the cheese. So if your children are eating mac and cheese while having asthma, they're never going to get rid of their asthma. Never. Never. That's not going to happen. Milk. I mean, at this point, if anybody is still feeding themselves and their children milk, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, at this point, I think we should all just understand that milk is just, come on now. We should do better. If you're still feeding your babies milk, if you're still having milk, you should be doing better. Okay, we none of us should be having cow's milk, especially if you don't have cows in the backyard. If you're not milking that milk yourself, okay, if you're not the one who's, I mean, I grew up milking the cow and I still don't drink milk. I never liked milk. I grew up on a farm milking the cows. Oh yeah, and I never liked milk. Now, if you have the cows in the backyard and you're the one that's milking it, and the cow is eating grass and fruits and drinking water, that's a little bit healthier, but not the crap on the supermarket shelf. And I tell you guys something, the milk you find in the store tastes absolutely nothing like real cow's milk. Okay, absolutely nothing like real. That's not real cow's milk. I know what real cow's milk tastes like, and it's nothing like the crap on the supermarket shelf. That's not milk you guys are drinking. I can tell you that from firsthand. I know what real milk tastes like because we raise cows. Okay, let's move on. Here's another reason for your asthma attack. Fried foods. Fried foods. Yep. Fried foods create a lot of inflammation in the body and trigger asthma. If you're taking your kids to Kentucky Fried Chicken and I don't know, all these other fast food restaurants, all the place where you go to the drive-through and you order a box of chicken wings and all this stuff, or you go to the Chinaman corner restaurant where they sell all that nasty fried chicken, and then you give it to your children, okay, and you're wondering why they're wheezing. Well, let me tell you something. Vegetable oils is your problem. A lot of you guys are using vegetable oil. All restaurants, I'd say over 98% of restaurants use these oils. What oils am I talking about? These oils right here. Your soybean oil, your canola oil, your corn oil, your safflower oil, your cottonseed oil, your peanut oil. These are the cheap oil on the supermarket shelves. These oils create nothing but inflammation and mucus. And when you eat foods that are fried in these oils, it triggers a lot of inflammation and mucus in the body. And if you are an asthma patient, you should never be consuming anything that is used with these oils. These oils create mucus and inflammation in the system. Just want to, let you guys know that. If you have any of these oils in your house, you shouldn't have any of these oils in your house, okay? If you have them in your house, get rid of them. If you are cooking with any of these oils and you have a child in your house who's struggling with asthma, that's one of your main problem. That is one of your main problem. These oils create mucus and inflammation in your body. And fried foods, especially if you're frying anything with these oils. I do a lot of study on this stuff. There you go. These oils increases inflammation in the body and contributes to certain illnesses, including respiratory illnesses, especially when you fry your foods in them. Most restaurants, including fast food restaurants, uses the cheapest oils in their businesses because it saves money. Most restaurants uses vegetable oils because vegetable oils are the cheapest. This is why you feel bloated after eating from fast food places and restaurants. You get stomach pain, right? All that bloatedness and stomach pain and heartburn. You struggle with a lot of mucus and inflammation. And on top of that, you're adding all the bread and the cheese and you're drinking all the sodas and all this sugary and sweet stuff. All of that is contributing to the buildup of inflammation in your body and causing you to have respiratory problem. Okay, there you go. Here's another reason you're having asthma and respiratory issues. This is the one thing that we cannot control. We cannot control it. Environmental toxins. We can't control what goes on outside in the atmosphere, right? We cannot. Let's be honest here. However, we can take care of our immune system, and our immune system will help us to fight what is going on in the environment outside. If you build up the immune system and the immune system becomes strong, that immune system will help you fight off these environmental toxins. That's how I was able to fix my asthma, because I didn't realize when I had asthma that my immune system was weak, struggling. And once I began to build my immune system was able to fight off the toxins for me, which is why I don't struggle with asthma anymore. All right. So the chemicals that are being sprayed in the atmosphere, let's not pretend like that's not happening. Okay. That is happening. Okay. They're spraying stuff. We all know that. Well, those of us who are wide awake. Okay. So let's take a look at mold. Some of us have mold in the house. If you are dealing with asthma, and if you have a child who have asthma, you ought to make sure that you don't have any mold in your home. Okay. If you have to get somebody to come in the house, maybe a professional, to they have those machines that they can come and test to see if you have any type of mold in the house. Because if you have, sometimes you have mold in the house that you cannot see the mold. Okay. And it's there, and it will affect your respiratory system. All right. And let me say this before I play the video. If you are having a respiratory condition, you need to go and check to see if you possibly have a upper respiratory infection. Okay. You don't necessarily have to go to the emergency room. You can go to your local clinic. They have those clinic. I think all communities have one of those little clinic. I don't remember what they call them, that you can just walk in there, pay them a couple of dollars. And, if you have a respiratory infection, they'll give you some antibiotic just to get rid of that infection. Okay. A lot of the times when you're having, you're wheezing, you're coughing, you're short of breath, you're struggling, you might want to check to see if you have a upper respiratory infection. All right. Okay.
Mold spores are tiny particles that float through the air. Mold can grow almost anywhere, on walls, ceilings, carpets, or furniture. Humidity or wetness.
So we're talking about mold here, mold and what mold does to the body. All right. And for asthma people, if you have mold in the house, this is what it can do to you. All right. So let me continue playing this video.
Spores are tiny particles that float through the air. Mold can grow almost anywhere, on walls, ceilings, carpets, or furniture. Humidity or wetness, caused by water leaks, spills from bathtubs or showers, or condensation, can cause mold to grow in your home.
How do people get exposed to mold?
People are exposed to molds every day at home, at work, at school, both indoors and out. Molds are generally not harmful to healthy humans. Inhalation is considered the primary way, that people are exposed to mold. Mold spores and fragments can become airborne and get into the air we breathe. People may also be exposed to mold through the skin, through their diet.
What are some of the health effects associated with mold exposure?
Symptoms stemming from mold spore exposure may include nasal and sinus congestion, eye irritation, blurred vision, sore throat, chronic cough, or skin rash. After contact with certain molds, people with chronic lung disease may have difficulty breathing, and those who are immunocompromised may be at increased risk for lung infection. A study showed that mold exposure during the first year of life may increase the risk of childhood asthma. People with allergies to mold may get watery eyes, runny or stuffed noses, itching, headache, and difficulty breathing. Mold can also trigger asthma attacks. Some molds produce toxins that may be hazardous if people are exposed to large amounts of these molds. Mold spores and related mycotoxins can also pose a serious health threat to individuals who have weak immune systems. Research indicates that certain molds can cause a variety of adverse human health effects, including allergic reactions and immune responses like asthma, infectious disease like histoplasmosis, and toxic effects like aflatoxin-induced liver cancer. Molds are thought to play a role in asthma in several ways. They are known to produce a large number of proteins that are potentially allergenic, and there is evidence to support associations between fungal allergen exposure and asthma exacerbation and upper respiratory disease. Molds may play a role in asthma via release of irritants that increase potential for sensitization, or release of toxins that affect immune response. Finally, mold toxins can cause direct lung damage, leading to pulmonary diseases other than asthma. Lee and Kendrick in 1995 investigated 15 homes in Ontario and found that overall fungal levels were highest in living rooms, followed by family rooms, kitchens, bathrooms, and bedrooms. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to Diseases Simplified for more health tips and updates.
All right. Okay.
Mold spores are tiny.
Whoops. All right, guys. So that was a short video on what mold can do to your respiratory system. If you have mold in your house, if you work around some place that has mold at your job, if you have mold, I don't know, in your car, if you spend a lot of time driving and there's mold in your vehicle, just check to make sure you're not living in mold. That's very important. Now, how did I get rid of my asthma? How did I, Sister Malika, get rid of my asthma? So I'm going to tell you the first step that I took to getting rid of my asthma. Number one, well, let me say this first, right? Let me say this first. The first step to getting rid of asthma is making sure that you, the patient, is mentally stable. I'm being serious here. Making sure that you are mentally stable, right? Since healing starts in the mind, you cannot heal the body if the mind is unstable. Okay? You cannot start the healing process if the mind is unstable. So the person has to be mentally stable before the healing process has to begin. Okay? The second step is eliminating as much as possible the things that are causing the inflammation and mucus in your body, and changing your diet permanently, changing your lifestyle permanently. Start doing things that are going to build your immune system. Take a look around your house. Look at the things that are processed. Look at the things that are only going to create excess amount of mucus and inflammation in your body and cause you to continue to wheeze and cough and get asthma attack. You have to get rid of those things. That's what I did. That's the first thing I did. After I acknowledged that I had a problem, First step is acknowledging that you have a problem. That's the first step, really. Okay. And you have to be mentally stable to do that. All right. Acknowledging that you have a problem is the first step. And you have to be mentally stable. A lot of people cannot acknowledge that they have a problem, cannot change what you don't acknowledge. So you have to acknowledge that you have a problem. And you have to work to changing that problem. If you have things in your house that you're consuming that are causing the excess inflammation and mucus that is causing the lining of your airways to swell up and cause you to have issues breathing, you have to eliminate those things from your household. Throw away the bread, okay? The bread has no nutrients in it. Bread has no nutrients. Unless you're making it yourself and you're making it from natural stuff, the mass-produced bread that is sitting on your supermarket shelf, that's all mass production. They have absolutely no nutrients. Any vitamins and minerals that you see on the labels, they're all artificial. You're not getting any nutrients from a loaf of bread unless you're making it yourself and you're making it from natural stuff, okay? You have to eliminate your pasta, your cheese, and all the crap that's making you sick and your baby. If you're feeding your children those nasty cereal, you got to stop, because that cereal and that cookies and those pastries and the cheese and the cow's milk, that is what is causing your child asthma. And check to make sure that you don't have any mold in your house. Now, let me say this real quick. Get yourself an air purifier and a dehumidifier. A lot of the times, homes have a lot of moisture in the home. And if you have a lot of moisture in your home, that can cause a lot of mold. Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. There you go. Okay. So, if you have a, like I said, get a professional to come into your home and check to see if there is any mold in your home. There are ways to check to see if you have mold in your home. Get somebody to come in and check your home to see if you have any mold in your home. So this is something that you can control and you can check, right? And if you do, get yourself an air purifier and get yourself a dehumidifier. Dehumidifier will get some of that humidity out of the home. And then the air purifier will help to get some, and of course, if you do have mold, you might want to get the professional to get the mold out of the home, obviously, right? And then going forward, you want to get an air purifier and a dehumidifier to make sure that the mold does not continue to build up in the home, right? Moisture is a problem as well. So these are things that you can control, okay? Dehumidifier, air purifier. You might want to invest in that, but get somebody, like I said, to come on in and check your stuff. All right. As far as environmental toxins, that's something that you cannot control. Okay. However, like I said, if you build up your immune system, you can control how your body reacts to outside environmental toxins. All right. I'm able to do that. If your immune system is strong, you're able to fight off stuff that's attacking the system. Okay. So, some of us might say, well, we're breathing stuff every day, blah, blah, blah. Well, your immune system is weak. You gotta change your lifestyle and build it back up. Okay. What is it called? Upper respiratory infection. That's another thing that affects people with asthma. So, as I mentioned earlier, if you find yourself really, really struggling to breathe. And you're running back and forth to the emergency room. They're putting you on the the thing, and it doesn't seem to be getting better. A lot of the times you are struggling with an upper respiratory infection, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. I would ask the doctor or go to an urgent care clinic. There's one of those in most cities, an urgent care. Tell them that you need to check to see if you are struggling with an upper respiratory infection. 9 times out of 10, you are struggling with and they're going to give you some antibiotic. Okay. After you finish those antibiotic, it's time to start building the immune system, taking some probiotics. Okay. Flushing the system. All right. Flushing the system. That's another step that you need to take. Doing a cleanse. A lot of you guys don't like to do cleanse. Do a cleanse. I'm talking to the adults. If it's the child, depending on the age of the child, if the child is over 10 years old, then you might want to give them a little cleanse as well. Okay, we have little cleanse for children. All right, we have cleanse for a little. I've been cleansing since I was a kid. Okay, you can give children cleanse. So if the child is struggling and they are 10 and above, I would give them a cleanse. If it's you're the adult, you need to cleanse the system. That's the next step that you need to do. After you clear out all the trash out of your home, all the junk food and all the crap out of your cupboard, okay? Throw away all the bread and the pasta. Your next step is doing a cleanse, flushing some of that debris and mucus and crap out of the system, just flushing the system out. That's one of the steps that I took, okay? After I threw away all of the crap out of my kitchen, all right? And the next step after a cleanse, I started taking the herbs, okay? One of the things that I took was black seed oil. That was very helpful for me. There are some other herbs that I took: golden seal, lobelia, wild cherry bark, herbs like that, herbs for the respiratory system. Those are herbs that are very good for the respiratory system, especially for the children. You want to give them some wild cherry bark. Okay. You can give them some elderberries because it has a lot of flavonoids in there, helps to build the immune system, so herbal, if you're choosing to go the natural route. Hopefully, I'm talking to people who are interested in doing things the natural way, right? Herbal medicine. You want to look for the herbs that are good for the respiratory system, right? And I know somebody's going to ask me, Sister Malika, where can we find the herbs and what kind of herbs and this and that? Okay, so here's a children formula that we have. I don't know if you guys can see it. There we go. Children's cough and immune, right? Okay, that's one for the children. And here's one for the adult. Cough, flu, and asthma, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. Cough, flu, and asthma, right? Okay. Those are what you call herbal tinctures. They're herbal tinctures. It's all liquid, right? These are very potent. They go straight into the bloodstream. So if you're wheezing and the throat is tightened up, you take a couple of these, right? You swallow, and it helps to open up the airways, okay? If your child is struggling to breathe, assuming they don't have some type of respiratory infection, okay? This is going to help the child to open up the airways. Now, I'm not telling you don't take them to the emergency room, okay? If you got to take them, you got to take them. You know your kid. You know what's going on with them, all right? If it's a real emergency, take them to the emergency room, okay? If they're just having one of those regular episodes where they're just wheezing, stuff like this will help to open up the airways and get in there and have them breathing a little bit better. Okay. Um, you know, but it is very strong. So herbal tinctures, for those of you guys who are familiar with herbal tinctures, when you take them, they go straight into the bloodstream. So they work faster than your regular herbal tea. Okay. Yeah. So, however, this is not, I keep telling people, these are not miracle cure. The cure is your body. The cure is you taking steps to doing the right thing, incorporating everything that is needed to get you better, which is changing your lifestyle. Number one, changing the stuff that's causing your problem, right? Getting rid of the stuff that's causing your problem, flushing the system out, cleansing the system, and taking some herbs that are going to help you to breathe better. It's all a combined effort, right? To getting rid of your asthma. That's what I did. See, it wasn't hard. That's what I did. People ask me, Sister Malika, what do you eat? What do you eat? If you don't eat bread and you don't eat pasta and you don't eat cheese, what do you eat? There's more to life than bread, pasta, and cheese. There are food that grows on plants. Okay? Those are the things that I eat. Foods that grows on plant. You cannot pull a loaf of bread off of a plant. You cannot pull a box of pasta from a plant. Pasta and bread and cheese and milk creates inflammation in your body. You need to eat the foods that does not create inflammation in your body. It's that simple. Eat foods that doesn't cause mucus and inflammation to develop in the system. Some of you are struggling with arthritis. That is inflammation. Lots of inflammation in the body. You got to change your diet. So I hope I was able to answer the question. And I don't know if any of you guys have any question for me, but a lot of people wanted me to come on here and talk about asthma because it is the winter time now and a lot of people are struggling with asthma. And unfortunately, what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of your problem is self-inflicted. You are causing the symptom of asthma. You're the one that's causing it. The foods you're eating is causing you to wheeze. It's causing your chest to get tighter. It's causing you to cough. It's causing you to not be able to breathe because you are causing the excess amount of mucus and inflammation in your system. Okay? You have to control what you can control. All right? Once you begin to take care of your immune system, you're going to realize that your body is going to respond to the outside element better, right? All of the toxins that are coming in from the outside, I'm going to share a story with you guys. So years ago, I suffered from not only asthma, but horrible allergies, right? And I was going back and forth to the allergist. Yes, that's a profession. They have somebody who's called an allergist, right? That's somebody who study allergies, right? They sent me to all of the allergists. They sent me to all of the specialists, right? And they couldn't figure out what was causing none of this stuff. They put this huge thing on my back. They told me I cannot take a shower for 48 hours. They're doing some type of study. They want me to come in and do some type of sleep studies on me, all type of madness, right? And at the end of all of that, this was years and years ago. At the end of all of it, they still couldn't tell me what was causing my problem. Not one of them could tell me why I was having. They gave me EpiPen. Some of you guys know about EpiPen, right? That when you start I was getting hives. I was getting rashes and hives all over my body. I'm talking about, just itching and scratching. And I had it, they gave me the EpiPen to, just God forbid, if I start to pass out, I had to stick myself with it. Right? And do you know how I got over that? With no help from those people. I had to I had to say, wait a minute, I got to stop the madness here. I have to stop this foolishness. They're not helping me, and I got to go figure this stuff out on my own. And I started researching, and I went back to school, and I started studying anatomy and physiology and sicknesses, and just started studying, right? And trying to understand what was causing my problem. Why am I having these issues that I've never had before in my life? I live, I'm from the Caribbean, never had any of those problems. They're telling me, oh, you're allergic to trees, you're allergic to animals, cats and dogs, you're allergic to the carpets, you're allergic to the grass outside. And I'm like, I grew up in grass, I grew up around trees, I was born and raised on a farm. How you going to I mean, we had cats and dogs all around. How are you going to tell me I'm allergic to trees and grass and cats and dogs when I grew up? I was born and raised around those things. Something does not seem right here. Okay. And once I began to immerse myself into studying the body and understanding the things that are causing the illness from the inside, and understanding that the illness is coming from the inside and what we are putting on the inside, I was able to get rid of all of that problem on my own without the help of any of these so-called specialists. I got rid of all of that on my own. I don't even have an EpiPen anymore, right? Never used it anyway, but got rid of that issue on my own because I educated myself. And once I understand that I need to continue cleansing my body and continue taking the natural herbs that God put in the earth and getting rid of all the processed foods that are causing the mucus and inflammation in my system, that's how I was able to get rid of all of my problem. Yeah. So that's my story. That's my little story there. If any of you guys have a question, hopefully I can answer them. Let me read the chat and see what you guys are talking about here. Shalom, shalom, Sister Dorothy, shalom. My first time here. Oh, hello, Ange. I hope I'm saying your name right. A-N-G, Ange. You said this is your first time here. Welcome. This is your first time here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading your comment. I have a constant. Oh, okay. So you have to constantly watch for mold buildup inside the air conditioner, right? Yeah. You got to be careful with that mold. Very, very dangerous. All right, guys. I don't want to stay on here for too long. We've been on here for almost an hour, okay? And hopefully I hope that I was able to answer, just give a little bit of explanation as to what is causing your asthma. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know the answer. It's hard for you to change. I know change is hard. Change is difficult for some people, not all of us. I have no problem changing, So I think some of us who are able to leave our country and migrate to a different country, like myself, I'm an immigrant in America, right? Change is not difficult for us because, when you pick up your life and move to another country, that's a huge change. Anything else that comes after that, it's really not difficult at all. I have no problem giving up a lot of the garbage and the junk that are being pushed and forced and fed to us, out there in the supermarket. I have no problem giving that stuff up because once you mentally understand that none of this stuff provide any natural benefit to your health, once you understand that, you should have no problem giving a lot of this stuff up. Seriously. Anything other than that, then you're dealing with an addiction. Yes, an addiction, which most of us are dealing with. A lot of our people are dealing with addiction. A lot of our people are addicted to food, to process, not just any food, processed food. And I don't consider processed food foods anyway. Foods for me are natural food that God put on plants. Okay, outside, grows in the ground, come up from the soil. That's natural food. Most of us don't want to eat those things. Most of us don't even want to drink water. Water is, I mean, I've been told by a lot of people that they don't drink water, they don't like water, it doesn't taste good. So that's what we're dealing with. So if you have asthma and you're not drinking water, you have a problem. If you have asthma and you're not doing some type of exercise, exercising the cardiovascular system, okay? Also, magnesium. Before I go, if you're struggling with asthma, get yourself some liquid magnesium, okay? That is going to help to relieve the wheezing as well, okay? Help that constriction in the airways. Liquid magnesium goes straight to the bloodstream. It's going to help a lot, trust me. Magnesium is very good for the cardiovascular system, all right? Make sure you're getting it in liquid and make sure it is a pure magnesium, all right? There you go. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys joining me. Thank you guys for joining me. And again, before I go, if you can please kindly just hit the like button and the share button. Thank you guys. Thank you. And thank you guys for watching. And I will be back next week. Okay. If you don't have any questions for me, I am out. Love you guys. Bye-bye.